If I owned a bookshop, what would that bookshop look like? Well, today we're going to talk about that because I'm doing the tag called the If I Owned a Bookshop tag. I saw this over on the BookBuds channel. I swear to God, they do the best tags. If you haven't checked them out before, you should. I will link them down below. And this was created by Robert G. Reader of Books dash R3P. That's what it says. So that's who created this. First up, we have what are the hours of operation? And myself, I am a later to rise person. So I'm assuming that if it's my bookshop, I probably work there. So I was thinking my hours would be 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. because I've never understood the whole rationale of being open from 9 to 5. Because don't most normal people work 9 to 5? So you want to be able to have them come after they get off work or whatever. Obviously, we'll be open on the weekends too. That'll just be like every day across the board, 11 to 9. And then, is there ambient music? What kind? Absolutely. You gotta have some sort of music going on. And I would probably just do like lo-fi because it's chill, it's nice, it's pleasant. And I feel like that's a good vibe for a bookstore, especially if people are gonna, sit around and hang out and read books. Next, is there a coffee bar? And then also, do you serve alcohol? Definitely a coffee bar. And I'm gonna have to go with no on the booze. Do you need a reason for why I don't want the booze in the bookstore? In March of this coming year will be 7 years sober for me. So if I'm running this bookstore, I can't be tempted. Maybe instead of alcohol, we could do mocktails and have that in the coffee bar. Okay, next. So are patrons encouraged to linger? Are there comfortable chairs? What kind of lighting? Are there tables? And are there areas for group gatherings? That is more than one question, all in one question. So I would say yes. Patrons are encouraged to linger. We want big, comfy chairs, maybe little tables next to it. The lighting's going to be good reading light. I'm not going to be able to tell you like what kind of specific lights we'll have. Maybe we'll have some table lamps, maybe with some stained glass shades to them. I don't know. But overall, we'll have nice overhead lighting that is not harsh. No like old school lighting or like that bright LED horribleness, but like good reading light that doesn't make your eyes trip out. Yeah, like I said, definitely tables. And then most tables, though, like for sitting at, will be in the coffee bar area. Because if we have a coffee bar, there's going to be like a few tables scattered and maybe like a couple of the comfier chairs over there where you can go and have a coffee and read your book. And then as for space for meetings, maybe we'll have like back area that has more books in it, but we could also make it like an extra like spot for like a book club meetup or whatever. I don't know. We're still formulating this in my head. I would like that though. Silent book club, regular book club, authors who come to speak, all of that stuff. And which goes into the next question, which is there live entertainment, poetry readings, authors reading from their current works, lectures on literature? Absolutely. Yes. I want to have authors come in and talk about their books. That's awesome. Yes to events in the bookstore, especially if it's going to bring more people in and they talk to the author and they buy more books. All right, next is, where is your bookstore located? In the busy heart of a large city, in a neighborhood of a large city, in a suburban strip mall, in a small town, in a rural area. So I would have to go I would want to go a neighborhood just outside of the city. And the reason being is that parking in a city sucks butt. That's right, it sucks butt. And so I would like to have a place that can have its own parking lot so that people can park there and not have to pay for parking or any of that. Anything that's going to deter people from coming to the store. Because I feel like a lot of times trying to park in a city just to get to the bookstore is a pain in the freaking butt. I mean, I'll do it, but I would much rather go to a bookstore that has its own dedicated parking lot where you don't have to pay for parking. So definitely not in the heart of a city. I know you would get more foot traffic and stuff, but hopefully with all the events and different stuff, we can bring more people in to our store. Okay, then it says, how does the outside of your store look? I would probably do a brick outside, and then we'd have big display windows. So we would have maybe some seasonal displays and some spooky displays, and that would change with the seasons or if we have an event coming up or certain months. Next is, what's your specialty? Used books, new and used, only fiction, only nonfiction, fiction, and not. Oh my God, so what are we carrying? New and used books with a focus on horror because, well, I love horror. We'll have everything, but we'll have a big horror selection. I love it when bookstores have a big horror selection. One of my favorite, used and new bookstores has a giant horror selection, and I love it. I get really sad when there's only like one shelf of horror when I go to different bookstores. Definite focus on horror and spooky things. What is the name of your bookstore? This is one I cannot answer right away. Like, I would really have to think about this, like cellar door books. And then maybe like, you have your bookstore and then there's like a secret door that leads down to the basement slash cellar where we keep our weird occult books and other like random rare books and such, something like that, like cellar door books, or the owls are not what they seem books. I'm just thinking of weird things from movies right now because cellar door makes me think of Donnie Darko, and the owls are not what they seem makes me think of David Lynch. So I don't know. Like I said, I'd have to really like think about it. Although I do kind of like how cellar door books sounds. I think that's kind of a cool name. But I don't know. Like I said, that would be something like that's something you think about for a while. I can't really come up with that on the fly. So those are my two on the fly ones. I feel like the owls are not what they seem is way too long of a name for a bookstore. So cellar door books would probably be better. But like I said, I don't know. And then also this other question is, would you have those cool ladders for your bookshelves? Abso-freaking-lutely. How am I supposed to reach the top shelf? I'm like 5'5". I'm not very tall. All right, so this is the part of the video where I'm supposed to tag people, but I am weird about that. People are busy. Life is busy. I don't want people to feel like they have to do this tag or anything. So if you did enjoy this tag and think you might like to do it, consider yourself tagged. And if you enjoyed hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.